I realize that creativity is a skill, and if you exercise it, you become amazing at it. And if you don't, then you assume that only talented people have it.
Like I came up with the Scrub Daddy, and then some other asshole stole the idea. But I thought of it first. Mm-hmm. And that's an example of how if I executed it, I would have had like $800,000 because Shark Tank took a shitload of the money.
Yeah,
so,
look at that.
There you go.
Yeah, but you didn't execute the idea.
I didn't execute it, so now I don't have $800,000, and that's why I'm here now.
So anyway, I took your idea and I said, what if we write this parallel narrative where we make this story about a slave? And I don't know what I was doing. Maybe this is like, I don't know if I was consciously thinking this, but like, okay, having a genie in a lamp thing gives you a genie in a lamp gives you the ultimate freedom, right? And interesting to contrast that in terms of meaning with the slavery in the world of Morrowind, the people who don't have freedom, and also I had to explain, how did this Daedric artifact that no one's really heard of end up where it ended up. So the story goes something like this. In Morrowind, there's this city, it's in the game, called Nissus. I like Nissus because it kind of looks like the word genie too. But I went.
Didn't think of that.
But I went there but I liked it because it's like half imperial, half normal culture there. And I thought, okay, what if there's like this antique shop? And I said, okay, we call it the Locked Box. It's the name of it, and it's a shop of oddities and antiques and things like that. And if you go to it, you can buy this lamp, and this guy actually he asks you to repair it or whatever. I forget. I think there's like a book or something you have to buy on the or something like that, the reparation. Or he's currently repairing it, and will you go get this thing? And it came in the shop the other day. That's all you know. Also, though, around Nissus, appears all of these signs and everything about this escaped slave who there's a humongous bounty on, and you could talk to different people in the village and ask about them, and they say, yeah, we heard he escaped from Dren Plantation, which is down south, and he made it up here in 3 days, and he's somewhere, we believe he's in the area, but the whole Dren Plantation, or these slave owners, a super powerful political family in Morrowind, and they have all these plantations, and these slaves that are slaves in Morrowind are these lizard people, or these
like cat
tiger people, yeah. And
he only says tiger because it sounds cooler.
Well, okay, yeah.
Everyone says cats.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, they're like, this slave, we believe, had something to do with the death or kidnapping, or hoping, of one of the Dren royal family members. You kind of call it royalty, which is Vorus Dren. So Vorus Dren is the son of Orvis Dren, I believe it's son or nephew, and Vorus Dren was a slave owner and all this stuff.
Well, yeah, like in the game, that Dren family, they have a ton of political power. Remember, they're like the mafia in Morrowind.
Yeah. So I'm sewing this.
They basically run Morrowind, like a lot of parts of it.
And
that's
so this story.
It's all criminal organization.
It's criminal organization, exactly, and it sews into the existing lore that's already there.
Right.
Dren Plantation is a place you can go to, all that stuff. So Vorus Dren, the Dren family, has gone missing, and they believe he was kidnapped by abolitionists because no slave has ever escaped Dren Plantation. They got it really tight, and the day that this slave escapes is the day that Vorus Dren escapes. And then there's other evidence along the way that the abolition was involved or planning something. It disappears. No one knows where Vorus Dren is. And so they're trying to hunt down the slave like nothing else. Otherwise, who cares? Just another slave. But this one might have information on where Vorus is.
Might have an important family member with information.
Anyway, that's backstory. It doesn't matter. You're just getting a lamp. So you go, you get this thing, you come back to Lockbox. The guy said he was repairing. You go there, he's gone.
Right.
But the lamp is there and it's repaired. You go up to the lamp, and if you click on the lamp, so you select it or whatever, immediately, like sound effect, everything, particle effect, whatever, it goes dark in the room, and you see a rat on a cushion float through the wall and descend onto the floor.
It's been known to happen.
And then walk toward the end of the hallway and make a portal appear. That's a Daedric portal, and a wall open up.
Yeah, and that's what's cool. I think for people who know Morrowind, to understand the complexity and just the that alone, that whole scene of the rat coming in on the carpet, and then it walking to the thing, and then the doors opening up, and then just the effects. Morrowind's not that type of game.
Yeah.
It has effects, and there's a few scenes in the game, mostly even in the expansion packs, I would say, where they go a little crazier toward the like Oblivion route of effects. When they were working on Oblivion, you can very much see that in Tribunal. But like, so that's like kind of cool. Like, holy shit! Like, there's like all this stuff. You remember, it's a game where people stand still and you read text boxes and you move around.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So that's the game, and so when all this is happening, it's just very cool to see, and it's like, holy shit! Like, this is kind of impressive.
So,
and people felt the same way, obviously, because of the reviews were very good. So
the wall opens up, and you go up, and you talk to this Weaver guy. Oh, and there's like this great Daedric cavern on the other thing. Oh yeah, so there's this rat, and his name's Weaver, and you click on him, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" He talks to you, right? And he's basically like, "Go beyond the door," like she's expecting you. It's like, what the hell? So you walk into this cave thing that had appeared there, and then immediately, and talk about effects, right? It's you see this, there's like this portal thing around it, and a thunder lightning effect appears, and this platform rises, and then another lightning, and the lightning hits again, boom, this large humanoid figure appears, and it's the Daedric god Mephala, and she says that you found her lamp, and that she will grant you 3 wishes of anything legit. You would like. So you can then choose the wishes that you want, and there's some lore and stuff there, but you can ask for, I don't know if she has 3 wishes, but well, whatever.
Yeah, 3.
So she says, so you have the option of asking for power, or like enormous power or whatever.
It's like power, knowledge,
or knowledge, and then I don't know if there's a third one. Because of the way the story goes. Yeah. So basically, you end up getting to do both at some point, but you could choose whichever one you want. We'll start with power. So if you do power, she I think the effect is like she grants it. You fall through this through the floor, and then you appear, and you appear in the Imperial City of Oblivion.
I lost my shit over that. I was like,
and you can see the Imperial Tower. And it's in Morrowind, and it's nighttime, and it's a thunderstorm, and you're walking the top rafters of all the castle walls toward the Imperial Palace, and you walk through and everything, and you go through the gates, and you go through the door, and then you go into this enormous, beautiful chamber hall where there's all kinds of people, and there's a gathering, and everybody's referring to you as Emperor. You've been made Emperor of the world, of the Empire. But it's interesting because everybody's like, yeah, we've just, the war with Morrowind, whatever, has just been won or just been conquered. It's like, what? What's that? And then you start to pick up that this is not the time period that the game normally takes place in. So what I did is I had taken the books, in-game book series called 2920, which is, I found in my research for it because I was like, if I'm going to make you become an emperor, it has to be an emperor in the lore. So then I found, okay, what are emperors in the lore that'd be perfect for this? Because here is the other thing, and the catch on this was, the wishes, of course, have to go awry. It can't be just, you get the wish. There has to be a twist to it, like the genie story classically is. Like, you wished for power? Well, it's the last thing you really want. So what I looked up, I found, okay, what are the emperors that were assassinated? And I found, okay, this is going to be the emperor on the night. It's Uriel... No, not Uriel.
Remen Cyrodiil
the first and last essential of the last emperor of the first era, because with his death inaugurated the second era. This is like 3,000 years before the game takes place, and this is the night of his assassination. Congratulations, you were the most powerful person in the world.
Man, I should have gone the Tai Lopez route.
So you sort of discover this at this party and stuff. If you've read 2920, I put all of the details I possibly could from people's names. Guy comes up to you named Gaius. He's in the book 2920. By the way, 2920 is one of the best pieces of literature I've ever read in my life. I cannot believe that's in a video game. It's so ridiculous.
It's not even like in the video game. It's a fake book in the video game that has nothing to do with the video game you're playing.
Yeah, because Morrowind has
it's just crazy.
Hundreds of books, both historical and of fictional nature, written from within the world by in-world authors. Yeah. And this is the one about the fall of the First Empire. And so this is the night of the assassination, and so all the conspirators there and everything. And as you proceed to find it out, you're able to find Weaver. Weaver is over by the throne room and everything, and throne. Weaver's the rat, right? And he's on his cushion, and he's not very helpful until you try and figure it out. And what happens is you go through the basic things, and I think because it's been so long. Well, I mean, it's been like 3 years, but the conspiracy they go to kill you, whatever, and you can get the lamp. You can grab the lamp or whatever in the last second, and then you get out of there. And then you're back at the locked box. You're back with Mafala. She's like, "Hey, how'd it go?" You know, she doesn't say it like that, but you're able to ask for another wish. So you ask for knowledge.
This part of the game is
bullshit.
People
said this part's way too hard.
Way too difficult.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know Elon Musk levels of IQs can pass it. It's so tough.
Because there's like there's like a room with like a gear puzzle and these gears that turn and you lock them into place and they rise and fall.
Didn't one guy in the review like ask for help and like never got it? So he just never
got it like 6 months later. I know. So and then
my computer broke. Can't play it anymore.
But I love it because Weaver, your traveling companion, is there the whole. He was always there on his cushion, whatever, and he's there, but he's just hanging out and he has a book in front of him and he's like, all right, go enjoy. I'm gonna get back to my story. And if you read, you should read the book. And I wrote it. It's called Jatter the Rat Warrior, Part 5. And if you read it, it's like a comic book for rats about a rat warrior. And apparently it implies that there's many others. No, I'm good. Thank you, though. It looks good. Honestly, probably if you read that Jatter the Warrior, that's probably my greatest work of all time. It's the greatest work of fiction.
It's actually very funny. It's very funny, but it's good.
So I put so much time and effort into writing a little book that would be in front of your rat NPC as a joke.
No, I know, but that's... Again, it's like the dumb little details. Like, that's what I like about the type of artist like you. Like, you're modding for a game with, like, no income streak at all. Like, willing to put all this coding effort, all this artistic vision into a game that not that many people play anymore. I mean, still big game. I mean, for how old it is, the amount of people that play it still is remarkable. The modding community is amazing for that game. It's so big still. Mm-hmm. But, in general... and then, like, just doing exactly what the geniuses at Bethesda really do. They write those weird stories within their stories. Is it fiction? Yeah. Is the Rat Warrior actually him? There's all these questions you can kind of take out. And it sounds like, it's just a mod that maybe 800 actual human beings will ever see in their whole life. But it's just like, wow, like, those 800 human beings really saw something cool in that. And it was an experience that I would feel like exists in that game.
Wow. Well said. Yeah.
It really is.
So then there's this whole thing where there's like invisible walls. There's this helmet of like unseeing and stuff. Oh, Blake's calling me.
You can answer it.
So no. Oh, that's fine. Oh yeah. Oh, I should have actually. Oh, whatever. So that's okay. I'll call him back. Like you said, we gotta have him on the podcast. There's all these like series of like walls you can turn off and on because you put on this mask and it gets dark, but then these ghosts appear and you go through this maze and stuff.
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah.
It's just really hard. I think it
took forever to design too. By the way, where was I designing this? I was driving to like Starbucks when I wasn't driving Uber, and I'd sit there for 2 hours with a laptop that I had bought with a savings bond that showed up magically when I needed it. So I could afford this laptop, and then I'd be just dedicating my time again to a game from 2003. So this just took so much time. But anyway, once you get through it, you go back to the library originally. You come through this other way, but you come through like this bedroom, and I think what happens is there's these candles, and if you turn on the mask, you can see the candles on the different shelves.
I'm not even be able to process.
If you turn off the mask,
you
can't, and you go and light all the candles. And what that does is that opens a set of stairways. But instead of stairways, it's a stairway going down to a cavern with a bunch of clanfears in it and crystals, and literally there's no end. I mean, it ends there. There's no way out of that. What you have to do is you have to go down a little bit, take off the mask, because then at the part where the stairway is about to turn into another stairway, it flips up, and it's the up version of a stairway appears when you take off the mask. So when the mask is on, because you had it on to get there to begin with, you go down and people get stuck at that part. But you take it off, and it goes up. And then you have this other flip stairway. You go up into this room where now you have to answer a riddle. And really it requires absolute knowledge to finish this part.
This part is fine. This part's cool because this is mimicking, what's the movie?
Well, apparently it's Pan's Labyrinth. I've never seen it, though. I just knew that this was a riddle.
But this riddle's very famous, too.
So, yes. And so there's two doors.
Yeah.
2 doors.
That's like the heaven and hell riddle, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
It's just a hard riddle.
So
It is a
you're
hard
in a
riddle.
room with 2 doors. Oh, by the way, as you get into the room, Jadder comes back and he's writing on his carpet and he just kind of levitates there.
The amount of ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And you and Jadder are like friends now at this point, basically. He's just along for the ride. He's Mephal's servant, is the idea.
Which again, that's a very Bethesda idea. Again, it's sort of like a Barabbas with Clavicus Vile and Oblivion.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, the dog.
Yeah.
He's actually your ally.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like his master. It's like the same sort of thing. Like,
yeah, although Jadder's fine with the master, I think.
But he does aid you throughout the thing, right? Can't you like kind of talk to him?
Oh yeah, you totally talk to him. And he helps you. He gives you clues and stuff on what to do and stuff. Yeah, he's not out to get you like Mephal's horrible designs are. Anyway, what happens is, and you're kind of getting the idea that the lamp just causes havoc on all who use it. It's just a horrible thing. It's the worst thing that happened to you is you find this lamp and use it. Okay, and that's classic Mephala. She's the web spinner. She's trapping you. Anyway, so this is the last part of the library, the gift of knowledge that you asked for. To get out of it, there's 2 Dremoras on either side of a door. They each have their own door.
Like monsters.
Monsters, yeah. They'll tell you, one of us always tells the truth, one of us always lies. So they tell you that, and they said you can ask us any questions. But only one door will lead out of here, and the other door will lead to a little section that was going to be way bigger. That this was one of those things where it's like the deleted scenes that got cut. Oh my gosh! So I designed this level called the Nightlands, which was my own version of Mephal's Oblivion, which was a swampy land and permanent night with swamp shacks occasionally and some people living there. It ended up being that you will get banished to the Nightlands, but you get banished to just one particular shack. You can't leave it. And you can never go back. Like, you have to load a game to get out of there. So if you go through the wrong door, you have to load a game. And what's cool is there's a guy in there and you can talk to him and he's kind of like, who's this guy that's permanently damned there? Anyway, if you put the mask on, I don't know if anyone's done this. If you put the mask on,
this shit.
Yeah, the one that makes you seeing, because you have it at this point, the Helm of Unseeing or whatever, he turns into this deformed Daedrith monster and attacks you and kills you. So that shows, because the mask shows the true forms of things or whatever. So
that was crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, again, that's something you don't even have to do that shit. Like,
no,
you get the
riddle
right? Yeah, I was just like, what?
You should have seen. I had a whole level with the Nightlands on it, with bridges going from swamp to swampy.
Yeah, I saw some of the designs when you showed me.
Maybe like
it was crazy.
Lanterns and fireflies and possibly like just crazy stuff. But anyway, that got cut. So you don't want to go there because then you're stuck. You don't go to the right door. If you ask and I forgot how the riddle goes, but the riddle's something like, one of us always tells the truth, one of us always lies, and you can ask them, okay, which door are you guarding? Which one is this? Whatever. And I think I only let you ask one question because there's one question you can ask that you can actually figure it out, like logically, which is the correct door. Doesn't mean the liar, because the lying is bad, has the bad door. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you have to figure out which one is telling the truth and which one. Anyway, if you solve that, you can leave and you're back at the lockbox. And at that point, it's like, hey, peace out. I need to leave with this lamp or whatever, like this lamp situation. And I think you leave the locked box. And now you're back in Nissus. There might be some impetus as to why you have to leave or whatever, or why your character's going to decide to leave and not just end the quest there. But here's where that parallel narrative comes in. Remember the slave, Dren Plantation, Vorus Dren, abolitionist warfare, trying to free the slaves, kidnapped perhaps because of the slave went missing. This is when that story kicks in, and it's all related to the lamp. So, you have to find the origins of the lamp, and you go and you find the woman who bought it from the guy to begin with, and she's like, "Oh yeah, oh no, you know what happens? Okay, you go back into Nissus, and now there are." I'm sorry, I forget because it's been so long. When you came to Nissus, not only were there signs everywhere, there were slave hunters. That was a great thing. I had this guy, What's his great name? Character. What was his name? It was a good name. It was him and 2 orcs, and he is the most vicious, brutal slave hunter.
It's like the Ramsay
around.
Snow.
Exactly.
Is that who he based him off of?
No, I wasn't watching Game of Thrones yet.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. Maybe no, but
I mean that is
either way,
who it is. It's the Ramsey Snow of
scary guy, scary for slaves. And he is like an incredible track record, and he believes the slave is somewhere in Nissus, and that's why near Nissus, and that's why he's come all the way up from that. And he's working on behalf of the Drens. Forgot about that. So there's a presence of like Dren hired help, including this. And remember, slavery is legal in Morrowind. It's not like this is underground stuff. It's legal. It's just scuzzy. So anyway, this guy, what happens is if you go up to him, he will give you a job, which is he asks you to deliver a message to a guy in a little swampy port town up north who's another guard, because they basically have people stationed out all in the northeast of Morrowind looking for this escaped slave. And so this guy's a big character. I can't believe I didn't mention him. So now you're working for him.
There's like notes on the plantation from him about the slave, like very aggressive notes, and then they have like you put the
chop the slave in half, in pieces,
slave, and then they crucify
with a crucified slave with a note. This is what happens to escaped slaves.
You know what happens.
So
happens in Morrowind.
So you go to the guy, you deliver a note, whatever. You come back, the guy pays you or something, and he asks you to. I'm not even an expert on my own mod, man. At some point, I think the lady who took the lamp or something, you can persuade her to telling you where the person you met was going and the direction he's heading. If you head that direction, you'll find a shack in the middle of nowhere with an old woman inside, and the old woman is an abolitionist harboring slaves, and she asks you to, I believe, do something. And anyway, then you make your way down to Dren Plantation. Actually, you go there, and then you talk to some of the Dren people, and you see like everybody has something to say about the escaped slave, especially about Vorus Dren, again, who's missing. This guy is like, again, he's nephew or son, I think he's nephew to Orvis Dren, like the biggest plantation owner in the entire continent, and his nephew is missing, and they believe kidnapped by abolitionists, but they haven't heard word. All they know is that the night that he disappeared was the night that this slave disappeared, and no slave ever disappears from Dren Plantation without being caught. So this takes you where you start working for the abolitionists, and you go to that woman's shack and everything, and finally she gives you the key to the well in the backyard. If you go to the backyard, you can go into the well. It leads down to this underground portion where they're harboring slaves. It's the abolitionist movement. And if you go in there, they have a very important person. It's, of course, our escaped slave. And you speak to our escaped slave. And I believe at first he's a little bit shy or whatever. Or he's not shy, but he's reluctant to divulge details. But he knows that people are on the hunt for Vorus Dren and everything. And you end up finding out, and I'm going to ruin the twist because who's going to get to the end of this mod anyway? It's a story. I should just write a short story version of it and put that out there, really. But Vorus Dren, prior to this, had bought a shipment of rare artifacts, and in that shipment, Vorus Dren received a lamp. And the escaped slave is Vorus Dren.
There you go.
That's what happened. So this is him, and he's like a lizard person now. He's been completely transformed into like he doesn't look like he used to look. He doesn't look like a Dunmer dark elf guy like he's supposed to be. There's no going back. He's like, the lamp ruined my life, and I dropped it here. I sold it here, trying to get rid of it. It's still, and now I can't even leave my own country. And it's like, I just need to escape Morrowind. Will you help me? And so then that's when you proceed to go into helping him and helping him escape and everything. And you do. And then you defeat the bad guys, the slave hunters. And it's great because there's all this tonality about like what it means to be free, what it means to not be free. You have like people who are subject in slavery, and it's the worst thing ever. But then you have people who are eternal slaves and servants like Weaver, right, to Mephala, who actually like it. And like then you have the grandiosity of having complete freedom when you have these wishes. So the whole thing is full of metaphor and meaning on what it means to be free. So anyway, long story short, you finish the quest. The old owner of the lockbox comes back. He has no memory about where he went, what happened. And Mephala gives you the slave escapes. You defeat the bad slave guy. Mafala leaves, and you're all good, and you receive a reward, which is, of course, Weaver. Weaver is now a companion, and I made it so that he has all kinds of custom dialogue based on where you go in the game, including on what day of the week it is, and including what half of the month it is. So what I did is I had a whole bunch of block of dialogue that can play that like you click on it, click on him, he'll say something random about whatever, and he has jokes to tell, and he has some secret. I think he has a location that you can go to. Maybe I don't know if I end up getting that into it. That leads to something. Oh, he has some dialogue that actually hints that he's actually a Daedric Lord, which I love.
There you
go. His dialogue. The dialogue blocks are divided between the first 15 days of the month and the last 15 days of the month. So just as you're playing and you get sick of you feel like you've heard everything, it's all brand new again. He also has things like there's, for example, in Aldrun, the city of Aldrun, there's where the Thieves Guild is. What's the building called again?
The Rat in the Pot.
The Rat in the Pot. If you go in the Rat in the Pot, only in there. If you go with Weaver, he goes, I don't like this place. He's like, can we leave? So I did all that. So he could be a very valuable companion and just fun. And so that's a reward.
Like
so few people get because so few people finish the mod.
Carry weight, right? Same thing, like that one, like the carry weight.
Yeah, I think
like
you can carry stuff. Oh, yeah. And then I think you can find Jadder the Rat part 1 through 4 or whatever. And you can give them, if you find them throughout the world, and put them in different locations throughout Morrowind, and you give them to him. It unlocks more dialogue, and I think he either increases in something or whatever. But he's really happy about it.
Sweet.